What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. We are going to continue our coverage over the Dawn of DC for Green Lantern. Remember that when it comes to the Dawn of DC, it is actually a new fresh start for DC Comics, meaning that if you want to jump into DC Comics, this is the perfect time to actually do it. Bring in the new readers and bring back the old readers as well. That is DC's goal at the moment. Now, when it comes to Green Lantern, remember, this series is focusing on Hal Jordan, not the other Green Lanterns, because they are going to appear in other books down the road. Something else to mention is that at this point, Hal Jordan has left the Green Lantern Corps because the Corps has been taken over by the United Planets, meaning that the Guardians are no longer in charge of the Corps, and Hal did not like that and left. So he came back to Earth to restart his life and also hoping to regain everything he lost, which is, of course, the woman he loves, Carol Ferris. Except she had moved on and also has a boyfriend. Sorry, a fiance, Nathan. And he will be appearing in this book as well and have a conversation with Hal, which honestly is a bad idea. But this book is actually leading into the Kngiht Terror event for Green Lantern, where we will be able to explore the nightmares of Hal in the next video. Now, when we jump into the opening pages of this book, it is picking up where our last video left off at. But on top of that, we have to remember those last few moments in this one takes place in the past, about 1 month in the past, because the moments that are taking place in the past are talking about the early days of Green Lantern being back on Earth after quitting the Green Lantern Corps. Now remember, at the end of the last video, he was confronted by a fake Manhunter. And if you are new to DC Comics and don't know what a Manhunter is, it is basically a creation of robots that came before the Green Lantern Corps. The Guardians used those to police the universe, except that idea failed and replaced by the Green Lantern Corps. But the one we saw at the end of Green Lantern #1, but in the opening of this one as well, is actually a fake. It is a guy who found a dead Manhunter and decided to wear the robot as an armor suit and attack the city. So when we get into this book, Hal is able to actually defeat that guy, but only because he was able to create his own Green Lantern ring. Because his willpower is so strong, he was able to create one and defeat this fake Manhunter. Now, right after Hal did that, he wants to test out his new ring that he had created. And so what Hal does as a way to test out his new ring is that he does fly over the city to hopefully find something to do, to see how powerful his new ring actually is. Now that is the moment he does fly over a graveyard site. Now when he does, of course, he does see some random supervillain team known as the Demolition Team. And of course, they want to destroy this graveyard site. Now, Hal knows right off the bat, if he goes down there and tries to confront them, it could lead to more damage to this graveyard. And so right now, he's trying to think, what else could he do to get rid of the Demolition Team out of the graveyard? And so what Hal does, he does use his construct ability as a way to create a scary scene at the graveyard to make it seem like the graveyard is actually haunted. And so with the graveyard now being so scary, when it comes to the Demolition Team, they begin to freak out and they want out of that place so fast that when they run out, they do surrender to the police. And so for Hal, it's mission accomplished. He was able to take down a whole team of bad guys without actually doing anything big at all. The only thing he had to do was create some constructs and call it a day. And on top of that, now he knows that his ring is able to create some creative constructs. And so after that, you have Hal being very excited again. And the reason why, because he now has a Green Lantern ring again. And now with this Green Lantern ring, he's able to be a hero. He's able to fly around the world again, something he always loved to do. Now on top of that though, he wants to see if he's able to actually fly into space. And so he does test that theory out. He wants to see how powerful this ring is, the one that he had created. Now, right when he's about to reach space, that is the moment his ring just turns off. It completely disappears. And so now you have Hal falling to his death. Now remember, all of this takes place in the past, 1 month ago in the past, to talk about the idea of Hal coming back to Earth and him becoming a Green Lantern again. The early days of him being the Earth's Green Lantern once again. But either way, he is now falling to his death, but we know he is going to be okay because it does take place 1 month in the past. Now, getting into the present day, we have to remember that Hal was technically fired from his new job. Because remember, he did visit his ex-girlfriend, Carol Ferris, and when he did, she was able to get him a job. Just that in 24 hours, the dude got fired, which honestly, that is pretty crazy. Either way, though, when he does get back home to his mobile home, he is confronted by Kilowog. Now, Kilowog is a fan favorite character. Man, Kilowog. Anyways, though, Kilowog wants to see how was Hal's first day. And you have Hal tell Kilowog, I failed. I got fired just like that. Now, when it comes to Hal, this is the moment where he begins to complain and trying to think that maybe it was wrong for him to actually quit the Green Lantern Corps, to quit the United Planets. And so right now, he's actually thinking about rejoining both groups because right now he feels like a complete failure. Now, once he's done complaining, that is the moment you have Kilowog step in. Now, when Kilowog steps in, Kilowog tells him right off the bat, dude, stop complaining. Like literally, please stop complaining because you're somebody who should not complain. And what Kilowog means by that is when it comes to Hal, Hal is special. Guys, just at the end of our last video, we saw Hal being able to create a new Green Lantern ring thanks to his willpower. That is it. And so right now it's Kilowog saying, I have never met anyone able to do what you were able to do, which is create your own Green Lantern ring. It's that willpower in you. You have a huge amount of willpower in you. You need to use that willpower to keep pushing forward. Because I'm telling you right now, if you sit here and just complain, you will never reach your goal. And so with those words, you do have Hal realize that Kilowog is actually correct. Now, we do jump forward one day. Now, when we do, we actually pick up with Carol Ferris and her fiance, Nathan. And right now we see them getting on a private jet. And the reason why, because when it comes to Carol, she does have a big meeting to go to across the country. Now, this is where things get a tad bit funny, because that is the moment she comes to find out that one of her pilots is Hal. Hal was able to get a new job in her company, a different part of her company, where now he will be technically the person always driving her private jets, which is crazy because this is Hal doing what Hal does best, trying to sneak back into a relationship with you. And she knows that. She knows what he is trying to do to charm her back into a relationship. Now, this is the moment where you have Hal actually meet Nathan, which is pretty funny because you have Nathan just instantly begin to like Hal, which is something that Carol Ferris does not want to happen. But either way, it does happen, and you have all three characters get on the private jet to leave. And so that is the moment where we actually do see Hal right now flying the plane. Now, when it comes to Hal, he is technically a co-pilot, meaning that he's kind of sharing the flying duties with another person who is also a pilot. But at the same time, it seems like he is second in charge when it comes to the flying duties. Either way, when he's the one in charge of flying the plane, he made sure to find a way to make Nathan spill his drink. And the reason why, because it will then send Nathan into the bathroom. And so with Nathan going to the bathroom, this gives Hal the perfect chance to actually talk to Carol, because he does tell his co-pilot, because they had a little incident, he wants to make sure that the passengers are okay. And so you do have Hal go in the back to talk to Carol while Nathan is in the bathroom. Now, Hal does use his Green Lantern ring as a way to lock Nathan in the bathroom so that he can have a longer conversation with Carol. Now, of course, this is Hal just trying his best to get back into a relationship with Carol. But unfortunately, when it comes to Carol, she's not having it at all. And the reason why, because she knows what he's trying to do. He's trying to charm her right back into a relationship, and she does not want that, especially with the idea that she has moved on and now has a fiance, Nathan. Now, when it comes to Hal, he's trying to tell her that he has treated her so well over the years. But here comes the big thing, though. Nathan has also been treating her well. It's just that Nathan doesn't leave her. That is the big difference. Because when it comes to Hal, Hal is a Green Lantern. Hal is always leaving. Hal is always gone. And of course, when she needs him the most, he is not around. And so right now, it's her saying, there is your huge difference right there. Nathan is always here. Nathan will always be here for me. And he also treats me well. Those are two things, and right now, you can only do one of those things. Now, right when he tried to tell her that he is going to stay on Earth, that is the moment you do have his co-pilot calling out for help. And the reason why? Because the plane has been surrounded by nightmare creatures. Because this leads into Kngiht Terror Green Lantern #1. Of course, the Kngiht Terror event. Because remember, when it came to Kngiht Terror, the main bad guy of that series right there, Insomnia, he technically put the entire world to sleep so that he can find the Nightmare Stone, because the Nightmare Stone is kept away in someone's dreams. And so when it comes to Kngiht Terror Green Lantern, the tie-in miniseries is focusing on Green Lantern's nightmare, but possibly Insomnia trying to find the Nightmare Stone and Green Lantern's nightmare. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.